is the future.
What's up, YouTube and Facebook, and welcome to Not Quite Mint. Today we're going to do our keys in isolation, and we're going to be covering the mighty god of thunder, Thor. So let's get into it.
Let's get into it, indeed, Tom. So, bit of a favourite character for
yes.
He, I think, models himself on a modern day Viking. So, we're looking forward to this. If you are obviously new to the channel, guys, do make sure that you hit subscribe. Obviously, give us a thumbs up, and also tap the little bell icon just so that you don't miss any of our like streams and anything when we are going live, because that massively helps us out. Today we're asking the question in the comments. Do let us know what is your favorite Thor run. Again, down in the comments, let us know, because we like to hear everybody's obviously comments around that stuff as well. And I think I'm pretty much covered. We are going to relaunch our giveaway, aren't we? I think as well, Tom.
Yeah, we are. So, do you want to show the stuff now?
Yeah. I haven't got all the comics here with me, but yeah, there's basically going to be, is it 9 comics, which were obviously picks of the month and random picks from our sort of like community long box thing. And Tom has done this sketch cover design for Thor #1.
Oh, so, yeah.
Our very own Tom has done this. So we're relaunching it because we obviously put it on pause until we knew what was going on with the whole quarantine and all that kind of stuff. So if you want to take part, make sure that you comment in the comments, not in this live chat, but actually in the comments for the video, hashtag NQM Crate Giveaway. You will be entered. Everybody who's entered previously will also be entered already, so you don't have to do it a second time. But if you want to, you can obviously redo it, and we'll just obviously merge your entries just so we don't miss you. But yes, now things are sort of like looking a little bit sort of like there's light on the horizon. We thought we'd bring back the giveaways, give somebody something to look forward to.
Absolutely, mate.
That's it. So yeah, so we are here to talk about Thor today.
Yes, Thor, Odin's son, based on the Norse mythology of the god of thunder, that actually has naff all to do with it at all.
But yeah, Tom's got a bit of a history of being a bit of a Viking, haven't you, as well? So
yeah. I would have had my Viking drinking mug, but the dog thought it was a chew toy, so I had to get rid of it.
Genuinely, we were having a bit of a chat before, and Tom was like, "Look, I've got a prop, and I was like, "Sound," and then all we saw was his little sausage dog Ragnar, probably looking to take a few chunks out of it and see if so it was a rather special birthday present. I don't think that'd be the best thing to do.
I've got a Mjolnir as well, but I don't know where it is, which is really annoying.
Right then, so as always, guys, we're going to go through some of Thor's keys, just talk about our experience of them and all the rest of it. I'll be honest, as per usual, as it seems to be, previous to my lunchtime today, I've never read a Thor comic other than the current Donny Cates run. He's always been a bit too sort of, I don't know, like too much of I don't know, I've just never had any real association with him, like until like obviously the MCU. That was like, you know, the only thing that's ever got me interested. But I feel it's slightly different with you, Tom.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't read any of the old school Silver Age stuff, but I picked up. I read a lot of Avengers, so I've always been a fan of Thor.
Yeah,
but I've never. I kind of picked it up just after it all kind of went tits up for him, and he ended up being the leader of Asgard. It was quite a while ago. I think it might have been the 2000s. I picked up Thor.
Yeah. I mean, I know he always featured in some of the books that obviously I'd read, and obviously like it appears, but I'd never read a core Thor book. I think because I've got I want to say it's the New Avengers from it's like sort of mid 2000s. I think it was where they introduced Ronin and all that kind of stuff.
Wolverine was part of the team.
Yeah, so I've got that. That's
he's the only member of the Avengers that's been in every single carnation of the Avengers is Thor.
Mm.
He's the only one.
Yeah, no, I can believe that, to be honest, because obviously there's a lot of buzz around like the Young Avengers, because Disney Plus are doing a Young Avengers thing, but they haven't quite announced the lineup yet, have they?
No.
So interesting, right? So let's start on the keys. I'm going to start with first appearance, and then we're going to do most expensive. So I haven't got my notes, obviously, for those two. So Tom's going to tell you the factoids.
I'll tell you the factoids on these bad boys.
But I do believe, so the first appearance was this one that we've got up on screen, which is Journey into Mystery 83, I do believe.
Yeah. It came out in 1962. And it is actually the debut of Thor and the Hammer and the Kronas, or whatever they're called. But basically, in the new movie, you got Krog, the big rock monster. This is his race's debut as well in this one.
Oh, so in Thor Ragnarok, Krog, the little like the rock guy, the New Zealand accent rock guy.
This is their debut in their race, as it were. Hello, Richard Nash.
We have visitors.
We have visitors.
Yeah.
So Thor debuted in 1962. He was created by Jack Kirby and Stan Lee, and actually Landry Lieber, I want to say, is the other one. I'm not entirely sure on that one. I might have spelt it wrong, which is what I normally do.
I think you're right. I think you are actually bang on that it's that name. So, well, I read this on my lunch break today.
Yeah.
And I was surprised, having not read any Thor prior to this, but I did start with obviously the first and original. His origin, how he becomes Thor, is like just nothing. So Rich has commented on your hair. I was saying that one. I've had my fun with the Corona Cup, Tom.
It's good. I like it.
We'll wait for you to go skinhead though, haven't you?
I did have a mohawk to start with, but then I cut the fringe a bit funny, so Char's just.
Has your mum seen it?
Yeah, Mum's seen it. Mum actually told Char to do it properly.
She all right?
Yeah.
All right. I remember when you had it short on the sides and your mum was not very happy. That was your Viking party, wasn't it? That.
Yeah. When I had all the tattoos.
Yes. Yeah. You had to have it short though. That was the excuse, wasn't it? You had to have it short for your tattoos.
Oh yeah.
So I read this and I was like, the origin was completely not what I thought, because I'm going into this with MCU Thor, modern sort of age Thor,
the newest take on it.
Yeah, and when I read this, I was like completely fucking like, I didn't get what was going on. Thanks, Rich. Thanks, Keith. You might be sane. I'm glad about that. I don't know about me and Tom.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I completely forgot about the whole stick thing. I completely forgot about it, because it does happen in the Thor that I got in 2000. He's this doctor who becomes Thor by picking up the hammer. I completely forgot that was part of his origin, part of his story, because they must have and I don't even know when they rewrote it. I couldn't even tell you, because it must have happened so subtly. I just must have missed it. But he obviously doesn't need to pick up the hammer to be Thor. He is just constantly Thor now. So yeah, that completely took me by surprise when I was rereading it. Well, read this one.
Yeah, definitely.
Not who I thought it was about.
Yeah, so I think a lot of people, if they do like try and read obviously a digital copy of this, they're going to be a little bit surprised potentially. When they read it. What were the values on this, Tom? Just to scare everybody.
Yeah, so just to frighten you all, if you want to pick up a raw copy of this, The one actually sold on the 26th of April this year for $2,827. So if you want just a normal copy that's not been CGC, it's not been graded, just to read through, just $2.5 grand. Happy days. But if you do want a CGC version and you want the top-notch one, a 9.8, you're looking at $144,000. Yeah, because we've all got that lying around at this moment in time.
At this moment in time, yeah, that's it. Yeah, I'd say, yeah, say for all these people who haven't got furloughed, obviously they'd be rushing out and getting these now with that extra 20%. Fucking hell! Imagine buying that though. As we always have this discussion, don't we, of having that amount of money sat on a shelf in a slab or in a I
don't think you could do it to yourself, to be honest. I don't think if you had something that valuable, I don't think you keep hold of it. You'd have to put it, like you said to me, you'd have to put it in a safety deposit box or sell the bugger off.
And never tell anybody that you've got it, because somebody would try and rob you. Yeah, it is crazy, isn't it? It's just crazy money, that is. But is that the most expensive one we've mentioned in the keys? I think it might be.
I think so, yeah, because we've got one coming up that is going to be a lot more expensive, but yeah.
Slightly. Yeah, but no, I think the most expensive before this was the Flash, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Was that about 80,000 or something like that? That one. So,
yeah.
Some big money on this one. But yeah, so that is first of Thor, and we're going to do
fun factical for you on Thor.
I've been missing your fun facts. Yeah, mate. You always bring the fun facts.
This is one I know. I didn't have to research this one.
I need to ask Chris.
Jack Kirby used to do bits for DC. He originally pitched Thor to DC, and they said nah.
Really?
Okay, fun fact.
Fun fact. I want to know if you do fun facts at work.
Me? Rich, I do fun facts at work. Please comment.
I love it. Anyway, so we're moving on to now. It's important to point out we always do first appearance and then second one we do most expensive, don't we? Because sometimes they're not the same thing. But in this case, this is the first and most expensive, isn't it? So the next one, which is his next most expensive, is Journey into Mystery 85, I do believe.
It is indeed.
Weirdly, it isn't actually 84, which is Thor's second appearance. This is actually Thor's third appearance, but it's the first appearance of.
Well, there's 5 first appearances in this bad boy.
What?
There's 5. So we'll start with the lesser. So there's only a very small bit in this whole book where you see the back of Odin. So Odin appears in this. Mm-hmm. You also get Heimdall, who's the guy who opens the Bifrost. He's in this.
Not Idris Elba.
Alder, who is Thor's half brother. You get Try, who is the Norse god of war. But most importantly, you get Loki. And his origin story isn't what I remember either. So I don't remember him being embedded in a tree, but he's embedded in a tree in this. I have to be honest, I've never read it. I went and read this one for today. I fell asleep halfway through. I just was not interested at all. I didn't find Loki a very convincing bad guy. I found it very camp. I just was not interested at all. So I'm glad they revamped Thor and they redid Loki because he's so much better now.
Well, yeah, it's in this one. He escapes from the tree by dropping a leaf on Heimdall to make him cry.
What? Who? I know Jack Kirby and Stan Lee worked on this one. So, I mean, I don't know who writes this, but Stan Lee obviously did. Well, no. Lieber wrote this, to be fair.
Yeah, blame him.
Yeah, it's blame him. It's not Stan.
Stan the man. But yeah, I agree with you, mate. I was like reading this, and again, because it didn't really refer to the fact that Loki was Thor's brother. And obviously you've got, what's the name of the guy who is Thor? I've forgotten his name.
Donald. Oh God.
Because again, I didn't know that till today. So again, that's like there was a revelation. So obviously, he isn't Thor's brother, and then he appears because he wants to get Mjolnir. Now, I'm not sure Loki's obviously he doesn't obviously know much about Mjolnir because he's never going to be worthy enough to pick up the bloody hammer, is he? So why is he trying to steal it?
He does, though, at some point.
Well, he does, yes, indeed. But at the moment, when he's just obviously
in this, when he's just casually making people cry from inside a tree,
from dropping a leaf in their eye. So yeah,
is Dr. Donald Blake is the name of Thor.
There you go. So Donald Blake, old Donald, good old Don.
But I don't understand. I know why they did it, because obviously, for he who holds this hammer shall behold the power of Thor. But it's not the case of you're holding the hammer, you become Thor. Surely you're Thor, now you have the power.
Yeah.
Bit like He-Man situation. You're a completely different geezer who now becomes Thor and has all these memories of Loki being his half brother when he's actually not, because you're not Thor. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a bit of a chicken before egg kind of thing. I think I was a bit, but again, I'm probably being massively biased because, again, I suppose back in the day it was all about writing these stories to make people feel that the normal everyday man could be a hero or whatever. Do you know what I mean? It's like it was all about that kind of, like, oh, you might find a magic hammer and become like a superhero. So I suppose it was along those themes of, like, that you get bit by a radioactive spider, you get special powers, and you find this mythical hammer, and so I get it in that respect. But yeah, it's very we can blow holes in like the storytelling, can't we? But it's classic for the time.
Yeah, I was gonna say, of its time, I bet it was amazing to read it when it came out. I bet it was like, this is awesome, amazing. A guy from inside a tree, awesome.
But yeah, I mean, and again, they were writing for probably a very different audience. We are a bit cynical and wizened now, aren't we?
Yeah, but then we are, in all fairness, back in the day when they wrote these comics, they didn't have that many writers back then for this sort of stuff. So they they had to write what they could, and they had so many books they were writing on. So you will be able to blow huge holes in the plots and things. Nowadays we have got such a rich pot of amazing writers and artists. So we are massively spoiled with what we've got. 100%. I mean, Donny Cates is incredible. Jason Aaron wrote this one. I mean, he's incredible.
Yeah.
So anyway,
this is it. It's that progression of the time, isn't it, and changing and stuff like that. It is all good. So we're going to now talk a little bit about three key Thor comics. That's a proper tongue twister, that is. Three key Thor comics. We're going to talk about that now, that me and Tom have both picked, just to sort of show you some more attainable keys. I think that's the best way of putting it, isn't it? So that they're not always these multiple millions of thousands of pounds. But how expensive is this one?
Oh yeah, sorry. So that one, if you buy it raw, is £750. Yeah. 750. Sorry, so it's not too bad for what it is. But if you get it CGC'd and you've got a 9.6, which is the most recent record, it's $90,000.
So yeah, still
happy days.
Happy days.
If you found this one in a charity shop and it was in a like a 9.6, 9.8 grade for like 10 pence, you'd just buy it, slab it, and you'd be laughing all the way to the bank.
If I found any Silver Age comic for 10 pence, I would be buying it, slabbing it, and selling it probably. But yeah, I know what you're saying. It's one hell of a fact that these books are still out there somewhere.
Oh yeah, there's loads.
That's it. So just have to be lucky. So first Thor comic I'm going to talk about is one is basically, as I say, it's going to be the only one that I've ever read before today on lunch, and it is obviously current Thor run by Donny Cates.
Are you feeling all right for this one? You're not going to have an allergic reaction?
I don't know what used to happen to me with that. I used to like yawn or like get very coffee.
Emotional. It's called emotion, mate.
I don't know. It really wasn't emotion. It was just some kind of strange reaction. But this is the most recent one that I've bought because I've decided that I'm going to kind of try and collect some of the variants of this particular one. So this is the Ryan Stegman, obviously #1 variant. So yeah, I've got that. I've got a couple of the other variants as well, and like the
I got this one as well.
Yeah, and obviously included in our giveaway, enter in the comments, not the chat, but the comments, #NQM giveaway, and give us a thumbs up and subscribe, obviously, and you can win obviously Tom's sketch cover as well as some other comics that we've put together. But yeah, so I can't believe that this book is actually going to be back with us soon.
It's been one of the most enjoyable reads, I have to be honest, in the last few months.
I'm really hoping that they are true, because I've heard varying different things about the distribution coming back online, and I think by the 28th of May we should start getting the new comics back. I will be honest though, and I've kind of enjoyed this lockdown period, if for only one thing, and that's the fact that I've actually been able to collect and buy older books from runs that I'd never collected before. So that's been my one positive of this whole time in isolation, is we sort of being able to have put the time and money and effort into the understanding the older books and
man, definitely.
But yeah, I'm looking forward. It's what have we got? Is it issue 5 next for this one?
Yes, yeah, because the last one was Sith, and the one before that was Beta Ray Bill.
That's right. Yeah, so we had a kind of a cameo, I think, towards the end of issue 4 for the Black Winter, and obviously this one, it's a key, because in this one, without too many spoilers, Thor becomes a herald of Galactus. So,
which isn't the first time he's done it.
But no, so it's one of those ones that's where sort of Mr. Cates obviously has wrote that in, and I don't think it will necessarily mean that it'll be worth a lot of money in the future. I mean, it's still, you can still pick it up for pretty much cover price on eBay and stuff like that. But still, I think for the other things that might come out in this run, because we haven't had any major. Well, we've had the Black Winter, I suppose, haven't we? So we've got
the Justice League,
and we've had a lot of people. Obviously, was that issue 2?
Issue 2, yeah.
Issue 2 with that, we had obviously where it was almost as if the Black Winter had consumed the DC universe, but like in a very cleverly done bit of writing.
Cool.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
it wasn't directly saying, "Yeah, this is Superman, this is Batman, this is Flash, this is Wonder Woman," but it basically said, "This is Flash, Superman, Wonder Woman, and Batman."
Yeah, everybody who reads comics knew exactly what it was. That was a yawn. That was. I'm trying to. I didn't say the name. So anybody who reads comic books read that issue 2 and was like, "Oh my god, what is going on? Like, is this a crossover? What's happening?" But old Black Winter obviously snuffed out the apparent DC universe, which is pretty impressive. So we'll get to find out soon, hopefully, if what the Black Winter's all about, and obviously if Thor can see him off whilst he continues to take the piss out of Galactus a little bit.
Happy days.
Because he does, doesn't he? He stands up to Galactus and has a fight with Galactus, and he's like taking no prisoners.
Absolutely cracking bits in this series so far.
Yeah, definitely.
It's only 4 issues in, and it's really good. So it's worth
to
read it.
Yeah, so happy days. So we're going to move on to your first key, mate. And the way I've got it teed up, I have got this one for you.
Okay. So yeah, this is Thor issue 134, and it is from the classic Thor series. Yeah. So in this one, it's the first appearance of Manbeast and the first appearance of the High Evolutionary, who is rumored to be the main antagonist in the new Guardians of the Galaxy movie, because he's the one who created Rocket Raccoon. So I picked that key because I own it for a start, and also purely because I've just recently read it, and it is better than I thought it was going to be. Because I'm not, a lot of the Silver Age stuff is a little bit too camp for me. I'm a little bit, I find them all a little bit over the place. But this one I really enjoyed, in all fairness.
Okay, cool.
And it's more about Thor trying to find Jane Foster because she's gone. One of these aliens has kidnapped her and sent her off into outer space, and she's got no idea where she's gone. And then Thor's like, where's Jane Foster? And she's like, well, I don't know. I just sent her off to outer space. So he goes looking for her, and that's how he finds the High Evolutionary. And he is really good because he comes across like a good guy, but obviously, I mean, if you've read anything about the High Evolutionary, he's not a good person at all. But he comes across really well in this, as if he's a good guy and he's doing it for humankind. And Jane Foster really likes him. She's like, yeah, he's cool. He's doing good stuff.
So is the clue in the name that is he a little bit maybe? Do we want to say kind of elitist and has his own ideals on what? Yeah,
essentially. So the High Evolutionary's character is he's trying to create the ultimate perfect species. So he's cross-species splicing together like humans with zebras and people with raccoons, essentially. So that's what he's doing. And then at the end of this book, Thor causes a problem, and he ends up creating Manbeast, who's like a man, but obviously a beast. But he's just 100% beast inside, but he looks like a man, as it were, with all the hair.
Okay.
But he's 100% beast, so he hates everything and everybody. So he causes this huge problem. And then there's a really nice little story at the end of this, which follows the I think they're called the Seven, the Thor's mates. You know, like the elite. You know, there's the Sif and all that lot. So it follows them, and you get the first cameo appearance of Farnir, who actually later on becomes quite a big thing in the Thor comic. So yeah, cool. Happy days. Mine isn't worth anything, but you can pick up a 45 quid version quite easily on eBay. And if you can find a 9.8, it's worth over $7,500. But mine is definitely not a 9.8.
Drat.
I know. Mine's probably about a 2.
You do? I don't think it is. I think it's.
It's quite a high one if it didn't have a big
4.5. Yeah. It's going to be about 4.5. Looking at it, well, what you've showed me on pictures and stuff, it doesn't look too bad. But yeah, it's got no bits missing, which is the main thing for starters. And then yeah, it's a nice one. So my second one. Oh, is your mum here? Woo! Yeah. You right, Emma? Yes, I say hello to Emma. Well, my next one is again, I'm sort of pulling on my fact that I only really know Thor from like MCU and like the more modern kind of like depictions of him. So one of the keys that sort of like stood out for me, I believe, is this one, which was no, it's actually not this one, but I'll do this one anyway. But this one is what we saw happen in Avengers Endgame, where this is the first time that I believe Captain America, or as he is in this comic, just the Captain. It's the first time that the Captain picks up Mjolnir, and so that's why this one is. So obviously, it's sort of like it's a bit of a mashup where it's a crossover between Mighty Thor and Avengers. So you've got the Captain in there, and he explains to Thor why he isn't Captain America. You've got She-Hulk, and then there's a couple of other characters who I can't really remember, and I've not seen. So,
by the looks of it, you've got Namor.
Yeah, Namor's in it. Yeah,
I don't know who the yellow one is, and I can't really see who the purple one is at the back.
Yeah, so it's basically like an amalgamation of like a certain form of like the Avengers of the time. Story wise, this is as I say, I read it on Marvel Unlimited, so it was if I've still got the image up, the bad guy in it's a guy called Seth,
not Rogan.
He's an alien, and he's Yeah, because you got like, I'll show you this image. So that's one of the images of Cap and Thor, obviously
He's
being
dressed up like US agent.
yeah, which is again I think part and parcel of his thing. But yeah, this is the bad guy. So that's Seth.
Nice.
And I'm not going to comment on what his arm looks like, but that was all I could think with this. But basically, yeah, it's all about
Filth.
Seth, and he sends down his sort of main henchman, a guy who I think is called Grog, and he goes down and tries to, cause havoc and take over the world and all of this. But obviously, you have this team up between Captain America and Thor. They obviously kick ass, and it all ends happily ever after. It's not a bad story. I think it was around about 1980 when this one came out. I think it was like Copper Age, so it's definitely slightly less camp and a bit more mature. They've got like, you can see that like the Cap's got issues because he's no longer using the Captain America sort of tag anymore. Thor, there's mention in this one of Tony Stark having done something that's annoyed like Cap as well. So it's all that, that whole like that Cap and Tony Stark don't really see eye to eye because they've got different idealisms and stuff. So you've got that going on in there as well. So it's interesting.
I like that classic combination of those two not getting on. I kind of think it works.
Yeah, again, it's one of those ones that I read it, and compared to Journey into Mystery 83 and 85, which is just of the age and is a bit difficult to sort of relate to, but it's classic comic books. This was, you could see that it was a much better book.
Yeah,
much better story.
You can tell as the age has gone on, they've got better with the character, because the character's better in my one, even though it's only a couple of years later.
Yeah. I think it's quite an interesting one. That, I mean, whilst you're not going to get much more hype about this in terms of Cap picking up Mjolnir and all that kind of stuff, the fact that you're getting like She-Hulk, she's getting her own Disney Plus series being made obviously next year and stuff like that. It's one of those ones that I think it's a fairly solid investment. You can pick Raws up for around about between £20 and £50 in like a higher grade, and a 9.8 if you wanted it graded is about £160 around about that sort of thing. So a reasonably affordable key if you like Cap as well as Thor. It's kind of like that perfect issue for you. So that's my next one. So next one I've got for you, mate, is not the one that you're most excited about, but it's
right. Well, actually, I love both of these.
Right.
So mine is my next one is Thor, God of Thunder, and I have to be really smug here. So I got one, but mine is signed. Where's it gone? There, by Estad Ribic, who is
nice.
Who I had the pleasure of meeting at Nice Comic Con in 2000 and I want to say 17, possibly.
Okay.
Anyway, moving on. So in this one, you have the first appearance of Old King Thor, and you get a glimpse of young Thor, who's now got who's got an axe rather than a hammer. So you get the first appearance of his axe, which is called Jabron, a bit like Jabroni, basically. So Jabroni axe, which is a dwarven axe that he uses in that one. But the idea is this story that they talk about, or they go through in God of Thunder, is all the gods are being killed from all different aspects of each planet's whoever's got a god, that god's in danger of being butchered by Gore the god butcher. So the idea is in this comic is Thor had the chance when he was a youngster to stop him, but didn't. So then you see our Thor in our modern age now having to deal with that. And then you see future Thor, King Thor, who didn't stop him, dealing with the fact that he's the only living god left, and Gor's after him. So it's an interesting story because you're kind of like, well, why didn't the younger Thor stop him? How come the Thor from our age didn't stop him? And you can obviously see that King Thor's just going to get his ass kicked, as it were. So it is really good. I really enjoyed God of Thunder, and I believe that they're using God of Thunder as a starting point for the new Love and Thunder movie that comes out in a couple of years' time. So yeah, happy days.
Yeah, it sounds a good one. I've heard there's so many things coming out as well about who the character that Christian Bale might be playing as well. So
I'll be surprised to play Thor, because he's obviously got that. He can pull off that skinny. You've seen the mechanic. Is the mechanic he's in where he's all skinny and he's got like his ribs are showing? Sorry,
is it the machinist?
Machinist, that's it, not mechanic. Yeah. So if he was to get into that shape, he could play Gore the God Butcher perfectly, because that's what he looks like. He's this gaunt kind of like skeletal kind of character. Without giving too much away, the character itself, he prayed, didn't get a response from the gods, and then decided that he was going to cause havoc, as it were. And he's the one who creates Null, the symbiote, the first original symbiote. That's how this in this comic that comes about. The sword.
Oh, okay.
The venom is, or whatever. Anyway, that's a completely different story. We'll get onto that on a different day.
We'll get into that on another day. Cool. Okay. So interesting book there. So my final one is, again, sticking in the realms of what I kind of know about Thor and all the rest of it. I've, again, not read much of the historic Guardians of the Galaxy books, but reading the current run that's going on. So I thought this one caught my eye, because in this one, this is the first appearance of, Fat Thor or Bro Thor or whatever you want to call it. So big fat chubby chub Thor. Sure, yeah. The only appearance that he makes is it's like the last final page, and so he has no impact on the story. So I had to get through one of the most painful to read stories I think I've ever read in comic books. It was just it's
not very well received, is it? The original Guardians of the Galaxy run.
This was terrible. This was just like, I mean,
who wrote it?
Let me tell you 1 second. I have it on my phone. So your writer on this one is a guy called Michael Gallagher, and it was illustrated by somebody called Kevin West. So I don't mind the art that much. I mean, it is, as I say, it was published early 90s, so October 1993. So it was in that time where comics were just overproduced. They were probably giving any Tom, Dick, or Harry a writing job, and there was a lot, obviously, of content out there and all the rest of it. And this really did feel like it just felt like trash. It really did. So I didn't like it at all. Let's be fair. I'm just trying to get the image of Thor up on my phone so I can show you.
I sent it to you. I had the opportunity to send that one to you. Sorry.
What was that? Oh, what the image? It's as I say, it's a sight to behold, because he looks absolutely grotesque. It's hilarious. So here we go.
He's almost like a pig, isn't he? Is that right?
He's like this. He's just huge. He's absolutely massive, and here we go. Yeah, he just doesn't look right at all. Here you go. So, yeah.
It's the proportions, isn't it?
It's just like, because he looks like he kind of looks like who'd take place in that like World's Strongest Man.
Yeah,
it's like muscle on fat on muscle type of thing. But look at his face. I mean, look at his face. Anyway, he's not going to be pleasing Jane Foster with that face, is he? So it's not going to be.
I still love him.
He's no Chris Hemsworth, is he, on that one?
I wish I was Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah, I know, everybody does, mate. Everybody does. But yeah, that's all I've got to say on that one. And not surprisingly, you can pick up that Guardians of the Galaxy number 41 from 1993 for around about 10 quid, £7 to £10. And there you go. And it's a story that features Loki. It's really random. Loki's doing stuff against
Go and buy it, kids.
The Guardians, but it's not the Guardians that we know from the MCU. It's like, I think
up to 2003.
Yeah, it's like it's a very, very different type of abstract story. So I wouldn't recommend it. But if you want the first overweight Thor, that's probably where you want to go for cheap as well.
For cheap. Chubb's Thor for cheap.
Chubb's Thor for the cheap. So last book that we're going to talk about today, guys, is one of Tom's.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about the Thor remake that came after the all new, all different Marvel series. So basically, in Original Sin, there's a bit where Nick Fury whispers in Thor's ear and he drops the hammer and it's no longer worthy of being Thor. So the hammer ends up on the moon, and then it gets picked up by somebody, and then there ends up being a female Thor. Yes. And she's awesome. But it turns out that I don't know whether. Yeah, I can spoil it, but great. So it turns out it's Jane Foster who becomes Thor, and she's obviously going to be the female Thor in the new Love and Thunder movie when it comes out. This book is her first appearance as Thor in the getup, in the outfit. It's a brilliant story. It's written by Jason Aaron. It's amazing. I was telling Charlotte about it on our walk, and she said that she'd be interested in reading it because basically Jane Foster picks up the hammer. She's a cancer victim, unfortunately. She's got cancer, so she's dying. She picks up the hammer. The hammer cures her of cancer. She becomes Thor. She becomes completely cured. She becomes a superhero, and she goes off and saves the world. I think she's fighting the Minotaur in this series of books, or that might be the Mighty Thor. I might be wrong, but anyway, she becomes completely clear of cancer. But as soon as she takes the hammer away and goes back to being Jane Foster, her cancer's accelerated. So she's one step closer to being at the end of her life, and it's really tragic because as the story goes on, she has to constantly save the world, and she has to make the final decision of, do I or don't I pick up that hammer? Because if I do, it's the death of me. And the way it ends is tragic, but also absolutely brilliant. Well worth reading. I really would recommend picking this one up. It's great. It's such a good series.
It sounds good.
Quality Thor.
Yeah, definitely. I like the sound of it. So yeah, I think that's pretty good. I mean, like there's a lot. When I was going through the keys of Thor, obviously bearing in mind that I think his first appearances was in 1962, I do believe. So
1963.
Is it 1963? So that's a long, long time ago. Do you know what I mean? He is one of those like sort of premium Thors, and so much has happened over the time, and like. Obviously, like you said, he's appeared in every incantation of the Avengers through the years.
Yeah,
so there's a lot of depth to him, isn't there? And
he's one of your most stable characters. He's twice.
Yeah, it's always difficult to know where the right jumping is point, isn't it, with characters like this? I think. So.
I would say, from a personal point of view, if you want to go back and read Thor, I would read anything after 2000. Anything before 2000, I think they're trying too hard with him, and then after 2000 he kind of comes into his own. The movie comes out, they start going down that comedy route of him being a bit of an oaf, a bit of an arrogant oaf, which is actually what he is in the Norse mythology. They go down that route rather than him being this squeaky clean character. I think once they took him away from being squeaky clean, it made more sense. And also because he's supposed to be a god, it made more sense to make him a god rather than a person that's become godly.
Yeah,
totally think that would be the best way to read it. That's my personal opinion anyway.
No, that's cool. It sounds right. I think, yeah, because I think a lot of people looking to get into Thor going back if they went right back to the start, like I did this, you know, earlier today, they'd be a bit like, what's this? What's all this about? It was a bit. I mean, you know, I respected it, but at the same time, I was a bit like, I'm not loving this. Do you know what I mean? So it was. But yeah, so you're probably right there. It's best to start there, like you say, in the 2000s.
I don't know if you've read it. A lot of people don't like it, but after Civil War, there's a like a series called Siege, where the Dark Avengers, Norman Osborn's Dark Avengers, decide that they're going to invade Asgard because it's in the middle of America at this point, and they're like, right, we're gonna take on Asgard and we're going to destroy it because it shouldn't be here. It's on foreign soil. That's a really good comic, in my opinion. And then it leads on to Fear itself, where a lot of other characters end up getting a hammer, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, sweet. Sounds good, man. That's what I say. He's one of those like sort of like hubs to so many other like type of quality storylines. So it's good stuff. It's good stuff. But anyway, that's all of the keys spoken about. End of the video time. So as we said at the start, if you do want to be in this giveaway, we started it prior to obviously the pandemic hitting. We put it on pause because we weren't too sure whether we were going to be able to get it sent out or when we could get it sent out. We've taken the decision now that at the end of May we will draw for this. So if you want to take part, down in the comments, not in the chat but in the comments for the video, make sure you enter hashtag NQM giveaway, and then that'll get you entered. And also, you're going to win 9 comics, I believe, that are like modern age comics.
Is it our pick from January?
Yeah. So I think it's February. I think it might be February. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it is February.
I think it's our picks of the month from February, and then you will also get this original sketch cover that's been sketched by our wonderful Tom here.
Absolutely.
And obviously that is a Thor #1, Donny Cates, all the rest of it, and we do love that run, so do that. So I'm just going to say, guys, do make sure that you obviously are subscribed and give us a like to take part in the giveaway. Make sure you press the bell so that you don't miss any of our other videos. Until next time, which will be on Thursday.
Wednesday.
Oh, sorry, Wednesday this week. Sorry, yeah, of course.
Sorry, guys, my fault.
Yeah, slight schedule change. We'll be back on Wednesday at around about 6 o'clock. And yeah, take care till then. We'll see you then.
And I'm going to say, stay home, stay safe, read loads of comic books, and above all else, look after each other. See ya!